Good afternoon to you from the Fox Orlando Live studios. I am Garrett Weimer, a digital journalist here at Fox 35 News, and we are joining you this afternoon because we are awaiting a news conference supposed to start any minute now from the Polk County Sheriff's Office Operations Center in Winter Haven. I'm going to go ahead and pop up this feed while we wait on the Sheriff Grady Judd to come out. We still don't have a whole lot of details about what is going on here, but we do know a few points. We know that this is about the arrest of a 36-year-old Davenport woman who is charged with the murder of her 4-year-old child. Again, still a lot of questions to be answered about that, but at this time we do know that this woman is charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and tampering with a witness. So 3 charges there, 3 very serious charges, and Sheriff Grady Judd is expected any moment now to come out and brief the media on these charges, on this arrest, and on this situation. This briefing was scheduled to start around 12:30. It is now 12:38. So again, we do expect this to start any minute now. This coming from the Polk County Sheriff's Office Operations Center in Winter Haven. So we're going to stand by here for a moment while we wait on this news conference to start, and then I will jump back in here in a minute. All right, if you're just joining us here, I'm Garrett Weimer coming to you from the Fox 35 newsroom here. We are awaiting a news conference any minute now from Polk County. The Sheriff's Office there at their Operations Center scheduled a news briefing for this afternoon. This is about the arrest of a 36-year-old Davenport woman who is charged with the murder of her 4-year-old child. Very serious charges, very serious allegations. We expect to learn new details about this case and the arrest coming up here in just a few minutes. This news briefing, you see the setup there, the podium with the Polk County Sheriff's Office flag, the state flag of Florida. This is the setup at the Sheriff's Office Operations Center in Winter Haven. And we expect to hear from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd any minute now. Again, this news conference was supposed to start about 10 or 11 minutes ago, so really we expect it to get underway any minute now. We don't know a whole lot at this point. That's why we are waiting on this news conference. We will bring it to you on these platforms as soon as it begins. But the arrest of a 36-year-old Davenport woman charged with the murder of her 4-year-old child. We know she's facing at least 3 charges at this point, including first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and tampering with a witness. So we are awaiting the sheriff and some new details any minute now. So stay with us, and we will bring that to you as soon as it begins. All right, thanks for sticking with us here on Fox35Orlando.com, the Fox 35 News app, and on Fox Local. I'm Garrett Weimer, a digital journalist here with Fox 35, and we are awaiting a news conference any minute now from the Polk County Sheriff about the arrest of a 36-year-old woman in Davenport for the murder of a 4-year-old child. Again, details are few at this point. This feed is coming to you from our sister station over in Tampa, and so we've got very few details at this point, but here's what we know. The sheriff so far calling this a horrible murder. That is from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. This news conference we're waiting on, again, very few details at this point. We do know that this woman has been charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and tampering with a witness. We are expecting new details to be released in this news conference that is now about 15 minutes behind schedule, so it should be beginning any minute now. This is the live feed from the Polk County Sheriff's Office, or the Sheriff's Operations Center, I should say, in Winter Haven in Polk County. The seal of the state of Florida on the state flag there, the Polk County Sheriff's Office flag. This is the podium where we will hear and see Sheriff Grady Judd any minute now talking about this case. Again, he calls it a horrible murder of a 4-year-old child. We don't know really any details beyond that right now. We don't know where exactly this happened. We don't know what exactly happened. And we don't know the suspect's name in this case yet. So very few details. Again, a lot of questions that we expect to be answered here at this news conference. It is now 1:45, and we expect this news conference to begin any minute. We are also working, I should say, on getting more details even as we wait on this news conference. So keep it right here on the Fox 35 News app, on Fox35Orlando.com, and on Fox Local, however you're watching us. We are going to jump into this news conference as soon as it begins, which, again, we do expect it to start any minute now.
Today, I am going to tell you a sad story, a very sad story, about a 4-year-old little boy, and a sad ending to a very sad story. He was born in Haiti to a mother who didn't want him, and so he was adopted in Haiti by this lady whose sister was in the United States. It took 3 years for the adoption process to go through, and ultimately the 4-year-old end up here in the United States. It's called the Biden program, and supposedly it's a sped up adoption. So the child's born to a mother who doesn't want it. We have no idea who that mother is. The sister of our suspect is in the process of getting the child for her sister, who is Patricia St. Azaire. Patricia's 36 years of age. She's already got a 16-year-old son that she has adopted from Haiti. The 4-year-old comes here as a 3-year-old only a year ago. And what we've learned during this investigation just turns our stomach. We have a video clip of where that 3-year-old baby's hands was tied behind his back, and she threw him in a swimming pool in the backyard. We received on May 1st a call. May 1st, the child went to the hospital. So why did the child go to the hospital? Heart of Florida in Haines City, but they live in Davenport. The little fella got off of the bus. He was happy. Everything seemed to be all right. The 16-year-old noticed he was happy. They were home. Patricia, the 16-year-old, and now the little dead fella who's 4. The 16-year-old notices later on that he's lethargic, that he's not responding. Patricia says he's faking it. Give him something to eat. He can't eat. He goes unconscious. The 16-year-old has been saying he needs to go to the hospital. He needs to go to the hospital. He needs to go to the hospital. Heart of Florida thinks he has a significant issue, sends him to Orlando Health. Orlando Health tries to work with him, and ultimately he dies. He goes to the medical examiner's office, and that's when we get involved a couple of days later. We find injuries where this child has been beaten. In addition to the video we found in the investigation of his hands tied behind him and thrown into the pool. We found an injury where his spleen suffered a significant tear. The medical examiner said it could have been nothing else other than an immediate hard strike to the abdomen. And as the autopsy went on, they found different layers of bruises and injuries from past beatings. And he's dead. He's dead because she beat him to death. We don't know, obviously, how he got out of the pool after he was thrown in there with his hands tied behind his back. We have a video of that. We're going to show it to you at the end of this news release. She's charged with murder, aggravated child abuse. The investigation's still underway. Her husband was clearly at work at the time this event occurred. She was the disciplinarian. He was a student at Laufman Oaks, and despite his abusive treatment, they said he was a happy child. And this never should have happened. Ladies and gentlemen, it is beyond my wildest imagination how anyone could abuse a beautiful little fella like this child was abused and neglected. But the investigation is still ongoing. We don't believe we know all that this child suffered. We have another video clip where he's face down on the floor and she's beating him in the back. And he's not even resisting it. It's just like it's a normal occurrence. You know, the positive, if you search for a positive, is that he's in the arms of God right now. and he's no longer being beaten. He's no longer being punched. He's no longer being tied up and thrown in the swimming pool. That now he's, as our Christian belief, that he's living the life there where he's surrounded by love and things are great, like he should have been surrounded by love and things should have been great here on earth for him. So every day when you see these little guys and gals that are on their way to school, understand that there's a small percentage of them that are being neglected and abused, and we need to know about that immediately. And when you go home tonight, hug your children a little tighter. Give them an extra kiss when you put them to bed. And thank God that you have those children, and they are miracles, and that you have the opportunity to show them the right way, to raise them the right way, to teach them the right way, and then understand that we need to say prayers for these children that we have yet discovered. It would have been great if we could have found this child and rescued him before he was beaten to death. The 16-year-old is in protective custody at this time. He is obviously no longer at the home. Are there any questions?
Are there any other DCF calls or anything to this house?
That's still under investigation. I don't know if there were other DCF calls there or not, but our team, our homicide team, is simply the very best. These cases are difficult to work. Our victims deceased, we've got to work on timelines and time frames of injuries and types of injuries. And this was a very complicated case for them to work, and they're still gathering details and evidence.
How about with the school sheriff? When your investigators spoke with school officials, had they seen any warning signs? Is that on their radar at all?
I don't know if we've had a chance to circle around with the school officials yet to see if they've seen or heard anything, because we have been intensely investigating the instant event. That will be on part of the investigative protocol. But as you know, we release information as soon as it's reasonable so that you know what we know. And some of that investigation happens in the later stages of the investigation.
These videos, were they on the suspect's phone? Or who?
They were on the suspect's phone.
And the 16-year-old, was the 16-year-old abused or?
At this point in time, he looks fine. He was coached to lie to us when we first talked to him. After we got Patricia in jail and away from him, he then told us, hey, I was told to lie to you, so that will be part of the subsequent investigation, but there's no obvious instant injuries, but certainly that will be part of the follow-up investigation.
Do you think that Patricia could be facing more charges than the ones that are listed here?
Well, we've loaded her up with all of the charges that we know about right now, but certainly depending on what the rest of the investigation tells us, that you can be sure that my detectives will file every criminal charge possible, depending on where the investigation, the rest of the investigation leads us.
So was her husband never around when this abuse took place?
Apparently not. You know, once again, those are the layers of the onion. We're not completely through yet, but at least when this injury that caused the death occurred, based upon the severeness of the injury and how bad that the child would have regressed from the injury, he was clearly not there. Now, follow-up investigation will help determine what he knew, when he knew it, if he knew it. But if you can believe this, they've lawyered up. So when you lawyer up, because we're investigating injuries to your child and you won't cooperate with us, that's a clue.
Sheriff, did she express remorse or explain her behavior to you?
Oh no, she didn't.
Sheriff, is there any more more you can tell us about her personal and professional life? There's something on social media that could indicate she maybe worked in childcare?
No, she worked for ABC Liquors in the corporate office, I'm told, over in Orlando. She lived in Davenport.
Do you know how long she lived in the States?
I don't know. But it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. But I can assure you of this, that if you hear something or see something or believe something or think something about a child being neglected or abused, if you call us, I can assure you that we'll completely and thoroughly investigate it with DCF. Because our number one goal in this organization is to protect the children. And that's why we go after child predators. That's why we go after pornographers. That's why we go after child abusers. And we certainly go after child murderers. Okay? And they'll make sure you have the clips and what you do with them. Or we're going to show them up here, or are you just going to give them to them? Both. Do you have the one? Which one are we showing first?
Just to jump in here for a minute while they get ready to show this clip, you are watching a news conference from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, and you can see these disturbing details this afternoon from this case involving the murder of a 4-year-old child, a 36-year-old Davenport woman now facing charges.
That's not a corporal punishment
in
spanking.
his arrest.
That's a
Going to take a
beating.
look at the videos that he's showing and as he describes what we're seeing here.
Now, if we can show it slow and stop it, you'll be able to clearly see his hands tied behind his back. This makes me so angry I can't see straight. Back it up just a little bit. Maybe one more frame. You see his hands right there tied behind his back? And she grabs him by the arm and slings him into the pool.
Sheriff, I think you've done your notes wrong. It's liver, not spleen.
Okay, liver. Okay, a significant injury to the liver.
Two videos we saw there at the
So
end
she's
of
been here
that
8
news
years.
conference from the Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd about the death of a 4-year-old child, the arrest of a 36-year-old Davenport woman. A lot of disturbing details this afternoon, including some that the sheriff says this case turns their stomach. Some of those details. You saw the videos. One of them, the child with his hands tied behind his back, being thrown into a swimming pool. The other one being beaten while lying on the floor. Those two clips, part of the investigation into this case. Now, this started on May 1st. We're told that's when this 4-year-old child was taken to the hospital. He later died, and that's when the medical examiner and investigators say they found injuries, a number of injuries, including a spleen tear that they said really showed nothing other than it likely came from an immediate hard strike to the abdomen. But investigators described seeing different layers of bruises from what they believe are past beatings. The sheriff saying today, quote, about this child, quote, he's dead because she beat him to death. 36-year-old Patricia St. Azaire of Davenport now facing charges: first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and tampering with a witness. Those are the charges that she is facing in this case. That 4-year-old child, as Sheriff Grady Judd said, he's in the arms of God right now. The 16-year-old, St. Azaire's other child, in protective custody. But again, this 36-year-old Davenport woman facing charges for the murder of for her 4-year-old adopted child. Disturbing details that we are tracking this afternoon. We will continue to follow this story and have new details, so stay with us on fox35orlando.com, on the Fox 35 News app, and right here on Fox Local as well. Have a good afternoon.